Hi, it's Rebecca. I'm back again. I was thinking this morning about another story. I know I shared in my introduction the story of how I got out of a terribly miserable job and got a better job by using the principles of spiritual metaphysics. And this morning I was thinking about another story that wasn't really my story, but it was in my family. And I wanted to share that with you because it really helps to reinforce an important point that I like to communicate when I'm teaching about spiritual metaphysics. And that is this. Spiritual metaphysics is not a practice to help you channel the winning lottery numbers. The prize patrol isn't going to show up and bang on your door when you need financial support. It's not a way to get in contact with a long lost relative that has the deed to a silver mine. It is a way to make that connection and have things show up in your life, in our lives, in very common and ordinary ways. And so let me share this story with you because I think it's one of my favorites. So one of my family members is a young mother with children in grade school, and this happened a couple years ago. And so I have shared with her the principles of spiritual metaphysics, and she's an eager learner, and so she's been, learning these things from me and from other sources as well. So a few years back, their daughter wanted to play the flute in band. She had just gotten to that age where they were going to be able to select an instrument, and she had tested a few different instruments and decided that she was most interested in the flute. And this young family, like many young families, pretty much lives paycheck to paycheck. And so the parents, wanting to be supportive, they said, okay, we'll figure out how to do it. But when the kids weren't around, how are we going to add that? How are we going to purchase a flute? How are we going to add even another monthly payment if we were to rent one, as is also an option? But again, this young mother was practicing and studying and learning the principles of spiritual metaphysics. So she did what she had to do by not getting fussed up, by allowing herself to know that this was going to happen and to kind of keep it open because she wasn't sure how it was going to happen. So as you will hear me say often on this channel, nothing happened right away. They went about their business. And a month or so later, they actually ended up moving to a new home. They purchased a home and they moved across town. So they were still in the same school district, still in the same town, but they had moved out of their neighborhood. And a few weeks after they moved into their new home, they had cause to go back to their old neighborhood. And when they were in the old neighborhood, they drove by the house of a woman that had worked with this young mother at the school district. This young mother had worked as a lunch aide at the school district. And this neighbor, this older neighbor, she was an older woman. Her kids had gone through the school district and had graduated and moved on to college. But she had always been kind to this little family. And so they stopped by to say hi and let her know that they had moved and just, neighborly, friendly gesture. And the woman, as anyone would do, said to the kids, oh, hi kids, how you doing? What's up? What's new? And the little girl said, I'm going to play the flute. And this lady was very excited. She said, my children grew up in the same school district and my daughter played the flute. Do you have your flute yet? And the little girl said, no, we haven't figured that out yet. And the young mother kind of backed out and said, yeah, we're looking into renting one through the school program. And this woman, their former neighbor, said, stay right there for a minute. And she ran upstairs in her house and she came back down a few minutes later and she had a flute in a case. And she said, my daughter does not want this anymore. She played the flute for years. She loved the band, but she's moved on. And I would love to give this to you. It would make me happy. It would bring me joy to give this flute to you. Please accept it. And so the family was kind of flabbergasted and they said, thank you very much. And they took the flute home. Now it was older, a few years older. So it did, and it had been used, lovingly used. So it needed some TLC, but the price of a new carrying case for the flute and a few of the pads to be replaced was nothing compared to what they were looking at in terms of renting a flute and paying that monthly rent or going out and purchasing one. And even if you go out and purchase one used, you may end up having to do some restoration work as well. So this young family realized what we would call in metaphysics a demonstration. They realized a demonstration of a flute for their daughter who wanted to take flute lessons and be in the band. And it came in a very unusual way. Again, it wasn't a lottery winning. It wasn't a contest where she won $500 or $700 so that they could go buy a new flute. It came in very ordinary ways through very ordinary people. And that is the secret, the jewel at the heart of spiritual metaphysics, is that we always have what we need. We're always provided with what we need, but almost always, 99.9% of the time, it comes through very ordinary means. And so that's the story of the flute that I wanted to share with you tonight. I hope you'll subscribe to my channel and like this video and come back for more spiritual learning stories and vignettes and classes. Like I said yesterday, I will be putting up some classes that I've developed on debt reduction. But in the meantime, have a great day. Take care. Till next time.